You know, part of being an NHL fan, management, coach, or anything like that is the difficulty of trying to get young players on your program and to play like mature NHL players. But it is just very difficult, right? You watch young players make mistakes and it just makes your eyes roll, but it is what it is, or have slow starts for that example. You know, you gotta give them a break in general. But one player that the Calgary Flames have that I very much like is Connor Zary. I think that he is going to be a darn good player in his prime, but this is just going to require patience. This video is going to be about him, but welcome back to Pixel Plus Hockey. If you can make sure to hit that subscribe button, it'd be so greatly appreciated, and thank you so much to those that are already supporting me as well. It is very humbling. And you could argue that his offensive statistics this year have certainly not been, well, what I think he could be. He's on pace for about 14 or 15 goals, 20 points in 49 games. But honestly, you could argue that's a lot more of just an offensively struggling Calgary Flames team, right? Like, you just do need to support this guy with more offense around him. And especially with Sam Bennett and what happened there with the Calgary Flames, where Sam Bennett is I just love him as a player. He's so good. He kind of has some similarities to Connor Zary a little bit. And here we have a really interesting quote from an article. Will Connor Zary become Sam Bennett 2.0, close quote, and I hope not. And this is a very interesting quote that I tend to agree with on. I want to highlight this. A key issue for both of these players is the limited ice time they received. Bennett was buried in the lineup pretty much his entire time with the Flames. Originally, Zary was getting great top six ice time, but has been pushed down to the fourth line under Ryan Huska. The 24-year-old forward finally earned a promotion to the top line against Chicago and has recorded 6 points in his last 7 games. One can only hope Zary keeps getting rewarded because getting fourth line ice time will destroy his development, close quote, and that is a fact. Like, you just simply can't keep on doing this with this player. And from what I can see, he actually has 7 points in his past 10 games. That's actually pretty darn good production. So it looks to me when he gets an opportunity, he can play. So I just feel that some of this is coaching to me, where honestly, this just kind of seems like a situation where you just got to play the player, right? Like, it's just, I think that these years are development years, and it's kind of weird. On one hand, when you talk about coaching and giving him less ice time, you could argue that that might be good because you could say it holds the player accountable, which is fair. You don't want a bunch of iPad kids, essentially, guys that believe that they run everything, because that's a real issue with young guys, thinking that they just deserve ice time because they're top players. But you also kind of have to allow players to flourish. It's kind of like a good in-between, right? You need to support players up to a certain point, but yeah, if they're just floating around on the ice, maybe bury them back down a little bit. But honestly, I've actually don't mind Connor Zary's two-way game. I actually don't mind it by my eye. Why don't you drop it below on your opinion on this? And here we have another really interesting quote relating to Sam Bennett giving up too soon. After many disappointing seasons with the Flames, Bennett's name began to show up in many trade rumors. Finally, in April of 2021, Bennett was dealt to the Florida Panthers in exchange for Emil Heineman and a second-round pick. This was a prime example of the Flames ruining a player's opportunity and giving him up on him too soon. Bennett was only 24 at the time that trade, Zary's age actually. He then went on to finish 2020-2021 season with the Florida Panthers and posted 15 points in 10 games, close quote. And I'll tell you one thing that I really, really like about Sam Bennett. He is a gritty player. That's the one thing I actually always liked about him on the Calgary Flames. He always kind of he has a bit of an edge to him. And I know that we all love players with some edge. And listen, ultimately the Flames re-signing Zary last season was smart to me. There were trade rumors around Zary that they were considering moving him, but ultimately just re-signing him is the best. But you have to see what you have. Part of a rebuild is not that you don't care about the games, although it's kind of true, right? If you're not making the playoffs, who cares about the really games? It's more about the development. Like, what is this player? What can he do and what can't he do? And what are his limitations? And you kind of have to find that out. For me, in my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of rebuilds that give older players too much of an opportunity. I think veteran leadership matters, but coaches almost lean too much into that during rebuilds. I think that you have to go more with the youth and prospects because those are the players that are going to carry your organization. But I suppose coaches just figure that, hey, listen, I have to win here or something like that, even though they probably don't. And honestly, this goes for a lot of their other young players too. I mean, you have Zane Parekh, who is on a conditioning loan right now with the Calgary Wranglers, and we love to see that. That's honestly where Parekh probably should be if he's developed properly. And interestingly, well, not interestingly enough, this is exactly where he should be because he has 2 games played and 2 assists. He would probably be like a point per game defenseman in the American Hockey League and get a lot of seasoning down there. I'm sorry, I don't want to go off on Parekh too much, but he should be down with the Wranglers just all season. But of course, it's only possible if he's there on a conditioning loan, which is so stupid in my opinion. But whatever, it's just stuff like this. Like if you're going to have him on the Calgary Flames, which I don't even know if he should be, maybe he should just be playing in junior or something, you're going to have to play him. You're just going to allow these guys to make mistakes. You're just going to allow them, have to allow them to flourish if you want to see what these guys are. Like if you plan on winning a Stanley Cup with Zane Parekh, on Gradine, and all of these guys, you have to see what they are. And here's the thing, maybe you guys don't or won't have those specific players on the Flames. Maybe you'll have to get rid of some of them, but at least you'll say, this is what this player is, this is what he isn't, and we already know what the players are, so you can move some players out and bring in other players. Just the one thing with Calgary that I'm not convinced about, I don't think that their rebuild has been too bad because they've selected some nice players. Their first-round selections, as I've gone on, have actually been pretty good. Like, I think Connor Zary was a great selection. I like Zane Parekh. Like, it's very hard to win in the NHL without a number 1 defenseman, okay? Not many teams win cups without a number 1 D. You just don't do it. Well, usually. Pittsburgh did, but usually you don't. And the Parekh, I mean, those are great selections, but you need to be like a pro-youth organization. Now, you need to keep the youth accountable, right? You can still have them on a leash if they're just hot dogging it around. I just think the Calgary Flames need to be more pro-youth in their franchise, and it comes from the general manager and it comes from the coach, okay? You're never going to build a Stanley Cup contender if you're not pro-young guys. And especially with all the picks they're going to have in this upcoming draft, and another player that, hopefully they get their hands on, a Steenberg, a Veerhoff. I mean, if they could get McKenna, who knows? We'll have to see. But they're going to have another top young prospect in the organization, and you're going to have to be even better at developing that player and analyzing where exactly should this player play. It just because he was drafted high doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play in the NHL for sure. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to talk about all of that. If you can make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, guys, and make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.